A pleasant good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of JANSONS Institute of Technology and Institution Innovation Council in association with Entrepreneurship Development Cell, it gives me immense pleasure and privilege to welcome our respected Principal Sir and Director Sir and Vice Principal Sir and IEC President and heads of various departments, my dear faculty members and student communities. We are happy to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Jaikumar, Entrepreneurship Development Innovation Institute, Tamil Nadu Field Coordinator, Anna University Regional Campus, Coimbatore. Today, he is going to share about government scheme for the budding entrepreneurs. I take this opportunity to introduce our Chief Guest. Mr. Jaikumar has completed his bachelor degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering at Anna University, Chennai in the year of 2009. He completed his master degree MTech Nanoscience and Technology at Anna University, Chennai in the year of 2011. Currently, he is pursuing his doctoral degree in the field of biomedical imaging at Anna University, Chennai. Current position. Currently, he is acting as a field coordinator for Entrepreneurship Development Innovation Institute of Tamil Nadu as an autonomous body for Government of Tamil Nadu, Chennai. With this introduction, now I kindly invite our Honorable Chief Guest of today's webinar, Mr. Jaikumar Sir, to continue the session. Please welcome you, sir.
So very good morning to all. Thank you, Gautam sir, for the warm invite, and as well as with a nice introduction about myself. And it's always a pleasure to talk about entrepreneurship for the young students over there. In spite of their busy schedules on their university exams, they are here to learn something about the funding assistance offered by the Tamil Nadu government and as well as by the central government. And before, I would like to thank a few people over here for continually taking an impact of an entrepreneurial ecosystem in the Coimbatore region, that too on the textile sector. And I personally believe the efforts taken by the faculty and as well as the students of JANSONS Institute of Technology was highly appreciated by our former Deputy Director in the year 2019. And it is also appreciated by our Director as well because of the idea that they have on this competition. And starting from the year of 19 to 21, I have a great association with JANSONS Institute of Technology for various aspects, and our journey continue to a greater extent as well in association with the great EDC coordinator over there, both Mr. Gautam sir and as well as Krishna Kumar sir over there, and as well as the great pillar of the institution, the honorable principal over there, is giving support to EDII in all the aspects. So at this moment, I just want to thank all the great individuals who have taken tremendous effort for this entrepreneurial ecosystem in the institution. With that, we can straight away move on to the presentation. First of all, I just want to convey my regrets for the inconvenience because I'm new to your platform. So that takes nearly 20 minutes for me to get into this platform. So that's why there is a slight delay. Don't worry about that. I will stick on with the timings and other things. Okay, first of all, I can ask you something, right? As you are aware, right, the funding opportunities for the young entrepreneurs who have been associated with the ECell or with an entrepreneurship development cell in your institution. Can anyone let me know by using a chat box or anything, you can unmute yourself and then you can give the answers. What is the difference between the grant and a seed grant? Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir.
Thank you. Okay, fine. No issues. I think the privileges was not on your side. So maybe let me go on to this straight away, because before I just want to give a session on funding opportunities for an early stage entrepreneurs. I talk on the EDI aspects and other funding assistance offered by the government of Tamil Nadu. But you change because you are well versed in the schemes and the opportunities which have been given earlier by the EDII. So I have given you a slightly different option on how this funding assistance will help you to become a successful entrepreneur. As I said earlier, the way that creates an entrepreneurial ecosystem in the region is quite different with respect to different parts. And I hope a particular institution or a particular region can cater the need of the textile industry, and other region who can cater the need of another industry. So likewise, a Coimbatore can be split up into 12 parts. So based on that, they work on an individual perspectives, and all together we are contributing to the economy of the Tamil Nadu in and around some 60 to 65% their economy. So that's why I've touched up with something on a startup ecosystem with respect to the strength of Tamil Nadu, and we have some funding opportunities. So let me tell you one by one. As you are aware, right, with respect to the Tamil Nadu economy, we are among the one who has been in the industrial employment and the industries, and we have the GDP in and around some 260 billion USD dollars on the year of 2020. And with the year of 2021, it comes around some 2,930 USD billion dollars. So that have a greater impact when we compare an economy of Tamil Nadu with other states. Like for a comparison, I can take some Maharashtra over here, because they are among the top 10 and also a heading of Tamil Nadu, in line with that just a margin of 300 to 400, right? So what paves this way for an economy? So again, that arises a question: how many small scale, small scale and medium scale and micro scale enterprises are there in Tamil Nadu? So based on that, the economy are also contribute. The economy also moves to in a fast-pacing manner as well. So likewise, the industries and industrial employment, so which paves the economy for the whole Tamil Nadu. And leading to that, there is always a linkage between the educational sectors and an economy. So how we need to linkage these two factors? The first and foremost prominent factor is the students who are getting admitted in the higher education. That is what we call it as a gross enrollment ratio. So this gross enrollment ratio of Tamil Nadu is 49%. As far as India is concerned, it is just 26%. Now look at in a different perspective. how this knowledge will, how this education will give you a sufficient knowledge for developing a product. That's always a question mark. But anyway, we need to feel proud on this moment for having a higher education, that is gross enrollment ratio, when we compared with USA also. USA is just 41%, but we are ahead, we are on the midway of 50. So it is always a happy factor for us, because the students who are getting admitted in the higher education in the age group of 18 to 23 will acquire some skills in their institution. Based on their skills, they can develop a product. So this is what we are aiming for. And as I said earlier, what is the hope for the future? As rightly said, it is an innovation-based entrepreneurial ecosystem for you to get it involved on this aspects. Let me come to this incubators and accelerators at the last, because maybe you will have a different thought process. What does it mean, and why we need to get into this incubators and accelerators and other aspects as well. So straight away I can start off with the core part. What is the funding opportunities for an early stage entrepreneurs? Can anyone let me know? So what is the minimum funding level that you are aware of? What is the minimum funding, government funding, for an early stage entrepreneurs? Can anyone let me know what is the minimum funding? You can use the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Sir Gautam, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, please.
Sir, from the public chat, I came to know that I am not audible to.
Sir, it's audible, sir. We can able to hear you, sir.
Yeah, from Nimisha, we are not audible, and from Shivashankari ma'am, it is.
Sir, now it's audible, sir. From our
Yeah,
side,
fine.
everything is fine, sir.
Fine, sir.
Okay.
Ma'am, if possible, can you check it from your side? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And can anyone let me know what is the minimum funding offered by the government of Tamil Nadu for these young students? Yes, Alexander, it is 10,000, sir. Very good guess. Yes, Ms. Moses, 25,000. You are very close, right? I could find some interesting answers from Nimish, Levin Hansis. Let me wait for another couple of minutes for your interesting answers. Kumaresh, it is 50K. Yes, there is hands, it's 35,000. Yes, 35,000, and Nimisha 30,000. I can get some few answers from you, starting from 10,000 up to a maximum of 50,000, at an average of 35,000 and 30,000. And let me tell you, it is very simple. For a student to get funding, either through an incubators or through an accelerators. So why I can give you two options. For an early stage entrepreneurs, you will have some viable ideas in general, but you doesn't have any strategic plan to convert your idea into a proof of concept. That case, an incubator and an accelerator will pave the way for you to get your product to be commercial. So that's why government is giving financial assistance through either an incubators or through an accelerators. So let me come to the previous slide, right? What does it mean, an incubator and an accelerator? It is very simple, which acts as a catalyst. In simple word, we call it is just a catalyst, or it acts as an instrument for getting your idea into a proof of concept. That's it. It's very simple. There are so many kind of incubator, so many different avenues in an incubator, which helps the students to grow in an innovative way, which also give you some basic amenities like workspace, an workstation, and a small facilitation center for converting your idea into your proof of concept. And other support systems will be given for you as a continuous mentoring, and they offer some guidance to get your entity into a DPIIT. That means Startup India recognized startup, recognized startups which comes under the government of India, and they can also offer assistance for providing networking support for your idea. And move on to the next, which we call it as accelerators. As I said earlier, you are being in the growing stage at an initial level, that is what we call it as a seed level. Once you come out of an incubator, then you will have a thought process of converting your prototype or a product in a commercial way. So on that aspect, you need some business analytics. So an accelerator is a platform which give you a feasibility study about your business analytics and as well as the market traction analysis. So this will give you enough opportunities for grab a venture capitalist or an angel investors. Now back to this pictorial representation of a funding assistance scheme. Now you could realize what is meant by incubator and what is meant by accelerator. And let me start with the basic thing. As I said earlier, what is the minimum financial assistance given by the government of Tamil Nadu or by the government of India? So I got some answer starting from 10,000 rupees to the maximum of 50,000 at an average of 35,000 at the minimum. So there is a separate scheme called EDII, which we call it as National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovation. I will repeat, National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovation, which we call it as, shortly we call it as EDII. And EIR is Entrepreneur in Residence. I will repeat, it is Entrepreneur in Residence. So there is a separate scheme offered, an excellent scheme offered for the student, for the young students like you. If you have a viable idea, once you have completed your education, then you can have a viable idea. That particular idea will have a feasibility in the market, then that creates some potential customers, then you are eligible for this EDII-TN scheme. They will give you a financial assistance of rupees 30,000 per month for a maximum duration of 12 months. In exceptional cases, they are offering 18 months. I'll repeat, they will give you a financial assistance just for the innovative idea that you have with a minimum financial assistance of rupees 30,000 per month for a maximum period of 12 months. Now you could realize it almost comes around some 3.6 lakhs just for the innovative idea. As I told you earlier, the grants are given for a student community who have some innovative thought process that may be at the initial level, so they cannot be able to think of how this idea will move on and how this idea will get us the need of the society, and you cannot able to realize the importance of the thought process and in other aspects. So a government has taken an initiative by offering an initial assistance through grants. A small grants can be given for an early stage entrepreneurs like you who have a viable idea. So through various schemes. On the first, as I said earlier, for NIDI, it is trials. The first classification is EIR, which we call it as entrepreneur in residence. And the next scheme for the young entrepreneurs is trials. Promoting and accelerating young and aspiring technology entrepreneurs. Is also coming under the category of converting your idea into a prototype, up to a maximum financial assistance of rupees 10 lakhs for the student community. There is an additional benefit of availing this grant under this NIDI Prayas. A Prayas center, in shortly we call it as Prayas Shala, a facilitation center. For your simple understanding, I can tell you that a facilitation center or a fab lab, you will be given a full access for converting your idea into a prototype with this facilitation center. And also, they will offer you 10 lakhs as a grant. Is another scheme for the young entrepreneurs. That too in Coimbatore. Is available in SIP in Pilamid. Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Park in Pilamid. They will give you 10 lakhs financial assistance for converting your idea into a prototype with an additional benefit of availing the Prayas Center, that is a fab lab, to convert your idea into a proof of concept or to a prototype. And right now, the application is open. Let me move on to the next category. Okay, before I can move on to the seed funds, do you have any, yes, Ram? PhD step, right? Do you need any clarifications on this? About NIDI or about NIDI prayers? If you need any clarifications, yes, Ram. Yes, Ram, you can go. Okay, you can put it in the chat box. Yeah, I will come to that. I will come to that. Is raising a question to differentiate between a startup India, right? Am I right, Mr. Ram? A seed scheme and a EDII-TN scheme. I will come to that. Okay, as I said earlier, seed funds can be given for an aspiring entrepreneurs who have some POCs. In simple context, who have some minimum viable product, or in peculiar cases, those who have a prototype, will comes under this mid cycle of an entrepreneurial journey. That is what we call it as a seed grant assistance, or for the individuals or to an aspiring entrepreneurs who comes under this category, what we call it as a seed funding assistance for an entrepreneurs. Those who are in the stage of என்ன சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா, யாருக்கிட்ட எல்லாம் ஒரு மினிமம் வயபிள் ப்ராடக்ட் இருக்கோ, இல்ல ஒரு ப்ரூஃப் ஆஃப் கான்செப்ட் இருக்கோ, இல்ல ஒரு ப்ரோட்டோடைப் இருக்கோ, அவங்க தான் அவங்களோட ஜேர்னியோட மிட் சைக்கிள் இருக்கிறதா அஸ்யூம் எடுத்துக்கிட்டு தென் they can go for a seed funding assistance. For an early stage entrepreneurs, those who are in the idea level, they can come under the category called grants. Seed funding assistance எடுக்கணும்னா in the category இருந்தா we will get the benefits. Okay, let me tell you one by one. On the first, through seed fund, we will have a Startup India seed scheme, or we call Startup India seed funding assistance. From the Startup India website also, you could also realize that. And the next, as Mr. Ram asked to me, right, EDII-TN, which is a seed support system. It also comes under a national initiative for developing and harnessing innovation as a seed support system. On the next, we have NSTDB Venture Center in Pune, which gives seed support system for the startups and incubators in terms of equities. Okay. Let me tell you one by one. The first, I hope I can start off with the Startup India seed scheme. As I said earlier, those who are recognized by the DPIIT can get Startup India seed assistance or a seed fund scheme. On the first, those who comes under the category of proof of concept, or to a market entry, or for a prototype development, or those who are in the stage of product trials or in a commercialization category. So what is the eligibility criteria to avail this seed fund from Startup India? It's very simple. You have to get recognized by DPIIT. So I don't want to get into that. It is quite a larger aspect. And the second thing is whether your idea can be fit into this market, which has some viability on a commercialization aspect, and which also has some scaling in terms of the outcomes or in terms of deliverables. So this is what some basic eligibility criteria which for an aspiring entrepreneurs who are in the proof of concept stage or in the market entry stage. And to a maximum, now it's revised, maybe you will get the details in a couple of months as well. A maximum of 10 lakhs, which you can use it under the Startup India scheme by offering let me tell you before that, as some of the first year students are here or second years, there is a concept called equity, right? Equity is very simple. By offering a percentage of shares to the investors. That means, okay, in original language I can say that to you. An equity அப்படிங்கிறது ரொம்ப சிம்பிள். ஒரு கம்பெனில நான் ஒரு பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் ஃபார்ம்ல இருக்கேன் அல்லது ஒரு LLP லிமிடெட் லைபிலிட்டி பார்ட்னர்ஷிப்ல இருக்கேன் அப்படின்னா எனக்கு ஒரு இன்வெஸ்டர் என்னோட ப்ராடக்ட் மேல இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணாங்க அப்படின்னா அதுல வரக்கூடிய ப்ராஃபிட்ல 20% அவங்களுக்கு கொடுக்கறோம் அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு பேரு ஈக்விட்டி. 75% of the profit for a partner, that means the ownership வச்சிருக்கிறவங்களுக்கும் 25% for the investors. It varies, depends on the investor. அதே மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்டார்ட் அப் இந்தியா ஸ்கீம்ல எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா லிமிட்டட் லைபிலிட்டி பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் அப்படின்னு நம்ம எடுத்துக்கும் போது 51% ஆஃப் த ஷேர் ஹோல்டர் யார்கிட்ட இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னா இந்த அப்ளிகன்ட் இருக்கணும். அப்படி இருந்தா யூ ஆர் பீயிங் எலிஜிபிள் ஃபார் திஸ் ஃபினான்சியல் அசிஸ்டன்ஸ். ஐ வில் ரிப்பீட், லிமிட்டட் லைபிலிட்டி பார்ட்னர்ஷிப்ங்கிறது டிபிஐஐடில நீங்க பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா இதனோட ஜஸ்ட் சிம்பிள் திங். எப்படி ஒரு பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் நம்மளுக்குள்ள கிரியேட் பண்ணிக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறதுல certain rules and regulations and acts இருக்கு. அதுபடி நீங்க கிரியேட் பண்ணணும். அப்படி கிரியேட் பண்ணும்போது உங்ககிட்ட மேக்சிமம் ஷேர் ஹோல்டிங் எவ்வளவு இருக்கணும்னா 51% உங்ககிட்ட இருக்கும். அப்படின்னா யூ ஆர் பீயிங் எலிஜிபிள். As I said earlier, 10 lakhs வரைக்கும் நாங்க they can offer you 10 lakhs. But to an exceptional case, they can also offer assistance to a maximum of 50 lakh rupees for commercialization. I can give you some points about DPIIT. An owner can be a limited or as I said earlier, they can be a registered partnership firm or a limited liability partnership. Their turnover should not exceed 100 crores and an entity should be considered as a startup up to 10 years from the date of incorporation, in the sense date of registration in the portals. And the startup should work for the society in two aspects. Either it may comes under service or a process, or which have a potential to generate employment or a wealth for the society. An existing business cannot be considered as a startup. So this is a simple explanation given by the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. That is what we call it as a DPIIT. As I said earlier, for availing this grant, a startup should be recognized by DPIIT. So what is the eligibility criteria for availing this recognition is very simple. As I mentioned some of the points over here. For further information, you can take a note of it. Go for Ministry of, if I'm not wrong, you can go for the Ministry of Trades and Commerce, I think so. There you can give a GO, sorry, there you can find a GO on a DPIIT organization. So from that you can learn more about that. And, okay. Next to that, EDII-TN scheme, as I said earlier, seed support system. And for EDII seed support system, they are offering SSS schemes only through the reputed research centers for excellence in IITs, IIMs, that too in Coimbatore. We have two prominent centers, one at PSG and another one at Amita. So through these two centers, you can also get assistance under this seed support system. So what is the eligibility criteria for a SSS scheme? And the first, an Indian startup, and the second, you have to register as an incubator under STEP TBI for a minimum period of 3 months. Yes, Revant. Revant, do you have any doubts? Okay, fine. I'll repeat. You have to affiliate with any of the STEP, that is Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Park, as a TBA, Technology Business Incubators, for a minimum period of 3 months as a resident or as an incubator before, and an Indian startup, and with a shareholder of 51%, as I said earlier, a DPIIT recognized startups, they can give you a maximum funding assistance up to a maximum of 1,000 lakhs. There are certain areas which comes under this SSS scheme. On the first, for a product development and testing and trials, and you can also create some test marketing over here, and for a mentoring support and the professional consultancies and other associated services like IPRs and manpower agencies and other things. But the difference between these two schemes is very simple. For a SSS, you have to pay, that is a repayment mechanism. Within 5 years, you have to repay 30% of the amount to the TBA. So only constraint under this SSS scheme. Ram, is it clear for you? Still, you need any clarifications? That's fine, Ram. Thank you. Moving on to the next, NSTDB Venture Center. NSTDB, as you are aware, right, National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board. So through that, a venture center can be created. As far as my knowledge is concerned, only center in India, which we call it as a venture center in Pune, they can give you some venture capital assistance. As I said earlier, for an equity stock, the 20% is the equity. They can fix it for availing this grant. They can give you a minimum of 2 lakhs and to a maximum of 50 lakhs as a funding assistance. I can give you. Those who are interested, avail the venture capital assistance from NSTDB Center, you can look on this website. I can put it in the chat window. For further reference, you can take on this. Moving on to the next financial assistance offered by the Government of India. Quite an unique factor, but anyway, for your knowledge, you can take this. There is a separate scheme called as a raw material assistance scheme. Those who are doing a business on a service sector, which may comes under the category of micro, small and medium enterprises, they will have procurement support from the MSME for a maximum period of 180 days to avail some bulk purchases, so they can get some funding assistance through a repayment method. Based on that, they can give you ratings on the credit worthiness of the enterprises arrived for analyzing and operating its financial strength. Sorry. It depends on the enterprises sectors. Okay. So far, I have shared the funding assistance offered by the Government of India. Now, I would like to share a few words about the funding assistance offered by the Government of Tamil Nadu. And the first, a funding assistance, a small funding assistance offered by the Tamil Nadu government through an innovation challenge called Tamil Nadu Student Innovators. In shortly, we call TNSI. So through TNSI, we can give you 1 lakh grant assistance for the top 25 teams who have innovative ideas in the state. And the next, in the streamline of converting your idea into proof of concept, we can give you another financial assistance called Innovation Voucher Program. It is very simple for early stage students who have an idea. You can utilize this financial assistance by register your product or register your firm as an entity under Udyog Aadhar or Udayam registration. Then you can apply for an innovation voucher program. Per year, we are giving 400 entrepreneurs under this scheme. There are two categories, the one which is voucher A and the next one is voucher B. And for voucher A, it is at the entry level. And for voucher B, it is for the market level. In simple classification, we can let you know. Voucher A is for an entry into your research or to your pilot basis, or for voucher B, it is for an market stage. And the first, for an entry level, as I said earlier, we can do some feasibility studies over there, or a material studies, or an R&D for a new product under voucher A. For voucher B, the next stage, or for a student who are in the stage of a prototype, they can do some tech transfers or a service engineering or for a design engineering to get their product to be commercialized. So let me tell you what is the financial assistance given by the government of Tamil Nadu through this voucher A and voucher B. The first, under voucher A, we are giving 80% of your estimated budget. For an example, I have taken 2.5 lakhs as the estimated budget. Then 2 lakhs will be borne by the government and the remaining 20%, that is 50,000, has to be borne by the applicant. And for voucher B, if your estimated cost is 10 lakhs, then 50% will be borne by the government, that is 5 lakhs from the government and 5 lakhs from the applicant. The maximum duration for utilizing this grant from the government of Tamil Nadu is 12 months. The only constraint is you have to associate with any of the knowledge partners in the state. There are recognized knowledge partners, reputed national institutions, or a research department of an university or an higher education, and the labs of MNCs and large industries, who are being in the product design consulting firms for with a minimum of 2 plus years of experience. And who all can apply for this? So let me tell you very simple, those who belongs to a startup category or an MSME, which has to be registered in Tamil Nadu, and we have a willingness to co-finance the innovation. And the rest, for a CIBIL score, if it is an MSME, they have to show their CIBIL score. For a student perspective, it is not needed. It is very simple that. Okay. And the next category of financial assistance offered by the government of Tamil Nadu through our another vertical called Startup TN is Startup Tamil Nadu, which can give you a financial, that is called as a seed grant assistance to a maximum of 20 lakh rupees under this seed grant assistance offered by Startup TN. For your understanding and for your reference, I can share the website address through chat window. www.startuptn.in. Just look on the website, you will get more about the strength of Tamil Nadu and as well as the startup ecosystem in Tamil Nadu, and you will have an excellent resources over there, and you can also get some assistance from the networks in the startup team. Okay, and that's it from my side. Thank you for your patient listening. So now I can back to you to clarify your doubts.